Selamat dia, good morning, tai karaya, good evening. Seneko kakona, many blessings to you. Mucho bendiciones and namaste. Welcome to the preparation and introduction to week 6, working miracles. We begin officially week 6 tomorrow with day 36. However, today is also part of preparing for what we're going to learn for week 6. So let's take the time today. Hopefully you already had your time to review, to work on what we're going to do for week 6. And as I mentioned in our earlier video, if you're feeling hopeless, help someone by Aung San Suu Kyi. And if I mispronounce that word and spelling, please contact me. I love to respect everyone's names because I really don't like it when my name is butchered. It hurts my soul. So if I mispronounced it, don't hesitate to contact me and let me know, please let me know how to pronounce it. Starting from the book. Our time spent together on this journey of new perceptions has been a daily reinforcement of the Course message that only love is real. Each exercise in this book has been an invitation to your inner guide, humbly asking for guidance back to this powerful belief system. Your Ing is committed to teaching you this truth as long as you continue to ask for help. That's the key, right? Always asking for help. Only love is real is a bold statement and one that the ego cannot comprehend. This is why the Course doesn't suggest we deny the fear of the world, but instead invite our Ing to guide us to the love-minded perception of these fears. We're going to try to deviate from these right or wrong-minded. We're going to try to see bring it back to perspective of fear-minded projections and love-minded perceptions. When you run on fear, it tends to block or soften the voice of love, and then we focus on different perspective and bring up our adaptations, which protect us but may hurt others and don't encourage love. So we're going to try to steer away from right-minded and wrong-minded and go into fear-minded and love-minded. Going back to the book. When we bring our worldly fears to our Ing, we are led to find power in powerless situations. We are guided to seek solutions rather than focus on sadness. We're guided back to love. Subtle daily shifts toward love help us reposition our focus and experience miraculous perception shifts. Each subtle shift you undergone thus far has surrendered your worldly fears to your Ing for healing. Each time you followed your Ing instead of your ego, you invited your inner guide to reinterpret your fear from a loving perspective. In doing so, you were guided to a new perception, a miracle. Returning to your truth, you now understand that the correct, miracle-minded thing to do is not to deny your fear. Don't deny her, listen to her. There's a reason why that fear is up there. She's trying to protect you from something real or imagined. If it's real, listen and see if it's true. If it's imagined, tell love to come forward. Allow your inner guide to come forward and help fear to understand that you are safe and you are okay. But rather to see fear as an assignment to learn and grow. Once you recognize this practice as a lifelong commitment, this journey never ends. It continues on and on and on until our last breath. You'll realize that the transformation is not for you alone. No, it becomes a ripple. A lonely rock can be thrown into the water and it ripples out, and that ripple affects the whole water. And that's who you are. You are a ripple in the universe. And when you change the frequency that you speak out, feel out, express out, your frequency bounces off to all the corners of the universe. And then you draw in as a magnet another frequency that matches it. It's wonderful, isn't it? You'll learn that you're here to use this gift to shine light on the dark world around you. You become a miracle worker in the world. As you begin to understand how love is crucial in the healing of the world, your miracle work will take on a whole new meaning. Look at the example she gives you. Take Gandhi, for example. Through the power of love, Gandhi moved mountains. Gandhi's faithfulness to love led India to independence and ignited movements for nonviolence, civil rights, and freedom across the world. You have the capacity to unleash your inner Gandhi and become a miracle worker in the world. I do have a book that is called Nonviolent Communication or Nonviolent Resistance. I will share that in the description if you would like to read it. If you don't know who Gandhi is, I invite you to learn more about him. He was a lawyer that turned into a spiritual motivator and was working to unite India. And it was said that he carried 3 books with him: the Bible, the Quran, and the Bhagavad Gita. If this is the first time you've ever heard of the Bhagavad Gita, I can also share that in the description. It is a story about some of the guidelines of philosophy in Hinduism. It's hard for me to describe it without going into deep into it. It's one of those books that I have read for yoga teacher training, and it is a spiritual guideline along the way. That I can definitely share it with you if you're interested in reading. There are several translations. If someone is watching this and can describe it a little bit better than I am, please, by all means, I invite you to help me do so, as well as email me if you can add some depth into what I'm saying, okay? But Gandhi is an interesting individual to study. Dr. Martin Luther King once stated that Gandhi was one of his influences. When you picked up this book, you may not have realized what you signed up for. Maybe you thought you'd heal a relationship, earn more money, or overcome an addiction. Or maybe you hoped you just learned to let go of some of your fear. I expect that you've begun to achieve these goals, and now it's time for you to take the next step. And it's okay if you haven't achieved all of the goals in the book. You can always go back, review the chapters that we need the most help with over and over again. Some of us are going to need more help with the relationship part. Some of us are going to need more help with forgiveness for ourselves and our body images. Some of us are going to need more help with the finances. Whatever situation you are currently in, embrace that present moment. Provide yourself some grace. You're doing the best you can with what you got. And that is okay. It is okay to be not completely okay right now. And it's okay to be fantastic right now. And it's okay not to be okay right now. There are no judgments on this journey at this current moment in time. And I don't think there ever will be, unless you apply judgment to yourself and others will judge you. However, in a safe space and in a safe time, you can see when judgment is coming forth, and you can tell judgment to keep itself on the other side of the door while you stay in your safe place. That's why I say sometimes judgment may or may not come, because they may not come from you at all the times. Just be graceful with yourself. You're doing the best you can with what you got. Every time you know better, you do better. Okay. No more philosophizing. Let me get off my soapbox. Let's back to the book. Being a miracle worker isn't just about letting go of negative beliefs and becoming happy. There is so much more, much, much more. Being a miracle worker is a practice, that's the key word, practice, of personal growth that leads to a worldly transformation. The true purpose of this work is to heal your mind so you can have a greater effect on the world. Whether you realize it or not, by picking up this book, you accepted a major invitation. The invitation to help serve the world. Try not to get tripped up about this. The ego has crafty ways of keeping us from serving the world by convincing us we're helpless. As a miracle worker, you now know better than to side with the ego. You now know that you're no longer powerless. The spiritual connection you have ignited is the greatest power you have to offer. The most prominent healers and teachers, I'm going to let you see the word before I turn the page, and leaders are those who said no to fear and chose spirit as their guide. Miracle workers like Jesus, Buddha, Gandhi, Nelson Mandela, and Mother Teresa are powerful examples of people who chose to turn their pain into their purpose of spreading love and transformation. Now, not a lot of people are familiar with all these individuals. And I invite you to go ahead and do the research and don't allow the limitations of just these names to be the example. There are so many examples out there. Gabrielle Bernstein is writing from her reflection, from her story, her life, her experiences. Your experiences may be different. I invite you to find out in your local area, who do you think are the miracle workers? Maybe you do align with the Christian faith and say Jesus. Maybe you do align with the Buddhist faith and say Buddha. Maybe you align with another faith and there's another example there. Those of us who created a certain arena, a world of a message of love and transformation, there are so many out there. For me, I love BTS, the K-pop band from South Korea. I find their music and their examples to be a powerful message of love and transformation. You may not. You may find another band. You may find something else. It doesn't necessarily have to be spiritual leaders. There's so many individuals out there that are working on spreading the message of love, universal love, not intimacy, sexual love, but universal love, the love of the fact that we are all part of the human race, experiencing different experiences, speaking different languages, expressing different cultures in different locations, and yet we are still part of the same race, humanity. We're still soulful beings, energetic beings, living a human experience. So like I have said before in the previous week that we were introducing, we are all crayons expressing the world differently based upon our color. And I'm talking about the color that we represent of the crayon, but that doesn't make us any less of a crayon, and that doesn't make us less special or any less different. We are crayons coloring the world. Okay, I'll get off my soapbox again. Let's go back. These miracle work leaders made such huge and lasting impacts on the world because they tapped into the collective resonance. Though our ego has convinced us to perceive ourselves as separate beings having individual experiences, the Course guides us to remember that there is only one of us here. We share the collective consciousness of love. Each time an individual chooses love over fear, the person becomes a bridge for all the others who choose to follow in that path. When we choose love, you create a new energetic pattern. The pattern of love becomes more accessible when more and more people choose it. The ego's world has been filled with fear, attack, judgment, and war. Now that you're on the miracle-minded path, you've chosen a new way to respond to this fear. This week, we take this conscious decision more seriously, understanding the effect our choices have on the world. So we were working on ourselves first and looking into our thoughts and looking in how can we assist ourselves to be the better versions of ourselves. Our true nature is love. So we are one, but right now we're thinking of ourselves as an individual. And then we went deeper into from the individual of our thoughts to, okay, well, what about this fleshy vessel I'm living in right now? It's very conscious, it's very physical, it's very real. What do I do about this? Am I separate from this? Or am I limited to just this physical body? And your body was conceived to being a vessel that filters so many things and it receives so much information based on the stimuli that you are in. And it's a conductor, a receiver, a messenger of different energies. But you're not limited to just your body, because when we meditate, we go beyond this physical body, beyond this physical plane. And then it worked into our relationships, then our finances, because if we don't feel supported, it throws us all off. And now we're going into the huge consciousness of we are all one. We are all spiritual beings living a human experience. And when we are no longer part of this fleshly realm, we return back to that one singular energy, love. It's a lot of deep spiritual, metaphysical knowledge. And some of us can say, okay, this is too woo-woo for me, I'm moving on. But think of it as we're going into a metaphysical, energetic understanding of ourselves. Okay? All right, let's go back. A powerful example of miracle worker whose own enlightenment greatly affected those around her was a woman named Nani Bala Bauya. Again, if I mispronounce it, please contact me, educate me. I welcome this. I want to honor people's names because it shows respect. Later called Deepa Ma. When Nani was 16, she married and moved to Burma with her husband. 2 years later, her mother died unexpectedly, leaving behind a baby boy for Nani to care for. It took Nani several years to conceive a child of her own. At the age of 35, she gave birth to a daughter. Only 3 months later, her daughter died. At 39, Nani gave birth to another girl named Deepa, which led to Nani being called Deepa Ma, or Mother of Deepa. Following the celebration of Deepa's survival, I'm trying to get you to see the book without me putting my finger in it. Deepa Ma, Nani, experienced more unfortunate loss. She lost her first son during childbirth, and then soon after, her husband died suddenly. These losses spiraled Deepa Ma into extreme sadness and pain. She could not find solace, but rather than die from a broken heart, Deepa Ma became willing to receive help. Her willingness to surrender invited her inner guide to communicate a message in her sleep. Often our Ing will speak to us through dreams. In her dream, Buddha appeared to give her a message. Clinging to what is dear brings sorrow. Clinging to what is dear brings fear. To one who is entirely free from endearment, there is no sorrow or fear. Dipa Ma interpreted this guidance as a sign to commit her life to Buddhism and vipassana meditation to find true serenity and happiness. She did just that. Dipa Ma became a master in meditation. Now I invite you, I'm not going to explain vipassana meditation, for I myself don't know much about that. So I invite us both, I invite us all to research more about that and see and read into more about Dipa Ma's history and why this was so important to her or affected her in any way. But to see in yoga therapy, it says the same thing in yoga philosophy as well. When we cling to what is dear, clinging to what is dear brings sorrow, clinging to what is dear brings fear. So it's attachment and expectation. When you hold on to something and you hold on to it so tight, you're scared that if you let go, it's never going to come back. So you're bringing fear and sorrow, because the moment that leaves you, sorrow comes forward. So you will hold on to it for dear life because you're fearful. At the moment it goes, your heart will be gone. Expectations will be gone. So it's so one of the 8 limbs is the yama and niyamas, and one of those is I'm gonna mess it up because sometimes I do. Aparigraha, and aparigraha just means non-grasping, non-clinging. So you're trying not to hold on to something to the point of you're choking the life out of it, all because you're scared of letting it go and you're scared of losing it, because it's only going to aggravate the fear of losing it and the sorrow of losing it as well. It's all about cycles, my friends, and I'll mention more about aparigraha and a little bit more about the yamas and the niyamas in the description as well. Or if you wish, you can read about it a little bit more. I did write a book about it, which I'm currently going to redo. So maybe I'll put that on hold. But you can discover a little bit more about it if you wish, about studying the yamas and niyamas. There's plenty of yoga instructors and yoga therapists that are experts in this, and maybe I'll invite one of my friends who is currently studying to get her PhD to explain a little bit more about the yamas and niyamas and the Sanskrit root and a little bit of the history of the words. Let me know if you're interested in that. Maybe I can contact her and she can do a little lesson here. And she can go on very deep. She's so very knowledgeable. I do truly appreciate her. But let's go on with the book, okay? Dipa Ma went on to teach meditation, much like the course suggests. When the teacher is ready, the students appear. Her students came in a form that reflected her. They came as household women. Dipa Ma taught women to find enlightenment in their daily practices of being a housewife. So she accepted them for who they were. And she just enlightened them and added more mindfulness into their current life. So we're not trying to change the rock that we're throwing into the lake. We're not changing the lake either. We're just causing a ripple and allowing that vibration to shake up a bit, just like we've been doing for ourselves. The nitric oxide, the changes in the breathing, so we can encourage nitric oxide, or the gas exchanges within ourselves, so that we can go deep into the cells of our cellular makeup to cleanse along the way. Going through this process to change our mindset slowly, one exercise at a time, one affirmation at a time, So she's doing the same. She met them where they were and to her understanding, because she herself was a housewife. Her influence on these women led her to later to be called the household saint. Oh, how cute. Deepa Ma went on to teach some of America's most renowned Buddhist teachers, such as Joseph Goldstein, Jack Kornfield, and Sharon Salzberg. Her commitment to meditation and her faith in enlightenment influenced the world. Maybe she hasn't reached your world yet, because we are all worlds within, right? So maybe she hasn't reached your world yet. I invite you again that whenever I introduce you, or whenever this book introduces you to a new term, a new word, a new individual, I invite you to research. That's also a part of the 8 limbs, is researching, is that constant learning, that constant self-study, trying to get better. I will also add that description, the Sanskrit word, in the description. Okay, let's go back. Her spirit continues to impact spiritual seekers to this day. Deepa Ma's story reminds each of us that we have the power to affect massive change in the world, even from the comfort of our own home. I'm doing this in my home, or wherever I am doing it, because sometimes I'm doing it in transition. And you are doing this mindset challenge, and wherever you are. It's possible. Even the smallest ripple can make a huge wave. As I mentioned earlier, Deepa Ma's example reminds us that when the teacher is ready, the students will appear. This was, okay, let me see, can I turn the page? Oh, perfect. The case for me. Okay, let's see if I can adjust the book a little bit so you can see where I'm at. All right. As soon as I committed to the course, it became clear that I was to be a teacher. I started giving free talks at local women's organizations and universities. Soon I began my own lecture circuit, where I invite whomever I knew to attend. Audiences of 40 became 100, then 200, and now exceed 1,000 in person and online. The more I grew into the role of teacher, the larger my audience of students became. These students come in a form that resonates with me. And that's what's going to happen. You're going to become a magnet to those that resonate with you. The rock that was thrown into the lake and rippled the lake, or the water, didn't change its magnetism. It vibrated, it sent it out. So that meditation that you did yesterday with the willingness to receive, that you spoke out something to the universe and waited for the universe to have your back and send you an answer, that is what you're doing with this transformation that you're doing for yourself. You're becoming more open. You're becoming more connected to who you are, connected to the identity that you are currently living right now on this physical plane, called physical school, called Earth, in your physical form, which is your body. And your human experiences are going to allow you to be able to resonate to those who are living similar human experiences. But it's going to help everyone to remember, hey, I am a crayon. I am just coloring it differently. And me as a blue crayon will resonate to other blue or blue shaded crayons. And then sooner or later, maybe a black crayon who has lived a blue life can also resonate with me. Does that make sense? I know I'm using different images and imagery, but it's a very it's a very metaphysical concept, and it can be difficult to understand and comprehend, and it's a lot to digest. So take your time, shake up your body, take a breath right here before I continue. Okay, and let us begin, because it's a lot. I know it's a lot to digest, I'm saying. Okay, let's go back to the book. These students come in a form that resonates with me. Much like Deepa Ma attracted the household seekers, I've been attracting the spirit junkies, a new wave of spiritual seekers ready to awaken a relationship to their inner guide. As you grow your own practice, you too will be guided to teach in your own way. If you listen to your aim, you will know where to go, what to say, and what to do, as the Course says. Teaching love requires no level of expertise. You don't need a degree for this. Just be authentic. Be you. No one else in this world is like you. We have some similarities, and the similarity is we're crayons. But you draw so beautifully. And you're also needed. I don't know if anyone has ever heard this. Maybe you have. But your voice matters. And your story should be heard, because your story may be similar to someone else's story with some different spices and different flavorings to it, but still similar enough to resonate. That's why your voice matters. Your experiences matter. Although metaphysically we may be the same, but physically we are in different forms, living different experiences, and yet similar to someone else on this planet. And your voice does matter. It truly does. And so does your story. All that is required is a desire to serve and heal. That's it. Authenticity, to be real. As usual, the ego will resist miracle-minded guidance. Now that you understand how crafty the ego can be, you're well prepared to make these next steps on your path toward inner power and peace. Remember, this work requires your commitment to love and a decision to see fear differently. I offer you some powerful ways to stay connected to this week's practice. The Miracle Worker exercises throughout this week give you the groundwork for sharing your light with the world. Remember these 4 steps, and you'll learn to follow your true calling. Step number 1, your purpose is to heal your mind. And since you know that's a lifelong journey, it's okay. But if we heal ourselves along the way, others will see that, and our vibration will increase. Okay. Step 2, continuously witness and surrender the fear that blocks your purpose. It's a continuous cycle, daily. Sometimes it's second by second. Practice grace. Forgive yourself often. And just be the witness. Don't hold on to the attachments. Don't grasp too hard. With fear and sorrow will come. Release, let go, and just witness. No judgment. Step 3, listen to your aim and trust in the path. And step 4, hopefully you see that. Choose love and know you're changing the pattern of the world. If numerous people throw rocks in the lake, the ripples will change. If we all decide to throw the rock at the same time, the ripple becomes one. We will change the projection of the ripple. Each day this week will awaken the miracle worker within you. The exercises throughout the book have prepared you for this week. Be the witness. Stay willing. Embrace the shifts. Have an attitude of gratitude. And when in doubt, throw an F-bomb and forgive. Remember that these daily loving actions are all you need to know how to serve at your highest capacity. You'll come to learn that service to the world offers you the most fulfillment and peace. Because when you vibrate that healing, the universe responds and it will bring you back what you're giving forth. Oh man, is it awesome? It's that beautiful wave and it just keeps feeding you and feeding you. Num, num, num. Okay, I'm getting distracted. Let's go back to the book. Let's start with a breakdown of the awesome exercises throughout this week that will strengthen your miracle mindset and guide you to be of service to the world. At this point of the path, you've raised your consciousness of how your ego can work against you. The exercises on day 36 help you heighten this awareness and recognize the effect your ego has on your power to serve. Each time you witness your fear throughout the day, you'll be led to remember that your purpose is to heal your mind so that you in turn can heal others through your ing guided life. By now, you know that your willingness is crucial to living a miracle-minded life. The exercises on day 37 will help you surrender to the voice of your inner guide. The more willing you are, the easier it is to say yes to your inner call to serve. But remember, be the witness, stay willing, embrace the shift. So as you're teaching love and healing to others, you have to continuously love and heal yourself. So surround yourself with individuals that are committed to doing the work as well, healing and loving and being the witness and being willing, and it continues. If you feed yourself nothing but manure, that's what's going to grow. But if you use manure to plant your seeds and then allow those seeds to grow, it's a whole different ballgame. I like using illustrations. I'm sorry. Let's go back to the book. The exercises on day 38 shift you from a me mentality to a we mentality. This shift will come through, from the onset of the day. The repetition of this moment-to-moment decision will be a subtle shift that creates lifelong change. By continuously calling on your ing for support, you'll be reminded of the we mentality. Day 39, work will lead you to share your gratitude with the world. You'll write a letter of gratitude to a person or organization that has greatly impacted your life. By sharing your gratitude with others, you inspire them to carry on their sacred path. Shining light on the accomplishment of others brings more light to the world. Practice on day 40 will go a long way to free you of the ego's chains. Oh, love that one. Yesterday, you wrote a letter of gratitude, and today you'll write a letter of forgiveness. And when she says yesterday, she's talking about day 39. Putting pen to paper is one of the most powerful ways to commit your intentions. These letters are like spiritual contracts that will support your energetic shifts. Today, you'll be guided to write a forgiveness letter to a person or organization you've been unwilling to release. I am quite sure there are so many people out there that along our path has hurt us completely or has done something awful. There's plenty of organizations that are definitely may not be matching. They're definitely not matching mine. My sense of commitment to the planet or commitment to human beings. So I have a list to write letters of forgiveness to. This letter will embody your willingness to let go of the ego's attack and awaken to a new clear mind. This clear mind is what you need to maintain constant contact with your ing and be of service to the world. Now, this was an exercise I did not only through this book years ago as I did this book, but also with Zig Ziglar. Now, he may be another name you don't know about. I will put his information down as well in the description. Zig Ziglar was also a motivational speaker, more on the I do believe that his background was more of the Christian faith, but whenever he suggested we write a letter of forgiveness to someone, we did not have to mail it. Just the act of writing that letter down was a release for us. Wasn't necessarily a release for the other person, but a release for us. It was a way of getting an apology that we were never going to get, or may never get, because we can't hold on to expectations. If the person is going through the healing process themselves, they may come around and apologize to us, but we don't know, and we don't have to hold our breath waiting for that. We can write that letter of forgiveness for ourselves to be released and move on. I'm going back to the book now. The Course teaches that miracle workers are students of love who are committed to sharing their positive perceptions with the world. Accepting your own healing is the first step towards becoming a miracle worker. The next step is to share that love through your thoughts, energy, and actions. The exercise on day 41 will help you accept the next phase in your spiritual development, which is to carry the message of love. For the last day of this process, day 42, I will guide you to reflect on and honor your work and spiritual growth. You will throw a miracle party and invite one or more of your friends to join you in celebration of who else? You! It's like a new birthday. Yay! I gave birth to a new mindset. So I'm giving a birthday party to the new mindset that I just developed and accepted. And the new life journey that I am placed myself in. I am giving a birthday party to that. A birthday party to the new path I'm going to. Yay, us. I know it sounds silly, but think about it. I mean, maybe, there's a celebration for everything. A new celebration of, oh, wow, I let go of that nonsense. I let go and found my own peace. Birthday party for me. Birthday party of finding my new peace. Woohoo for me. All right, I'll go back to the book. I'll stop being corny. So let's get the love parade moving and take the next loving action toward becoming a miracle worker in the world. As you deepen your practice this week, ask yourself, what am I choosing to bring to the world? Do not judge your past. Rather, honor the path you've taken and accept that it's been your learning device to get to where you are. That was the hardest thing for me when I first took this journey. Years ago, I picked up this book because I was raw. I was so hurting after my SA experience, and that caused the breakup of my family and my marriage. I did not want to honor that path because I didn't choose to pick it up. It railroaded me. However, it was a path I was placed on, so I couldn't deny it. It occurred, and that experience didn't define me completely. So I can either choose to use it as a learning device, or I can let it destroy me. And at first I thought I was going to allow it to destroy me. But here I am redoing this book, and it was, and it still is a learning device for me. And it did get me to this day, to being the nude yoga and nude wellness instructor that I am, trying to teach people how to love their bodies as it is right now, dimples and all, right now, and start to learn how to have and develop a loving communication between their physical parts and themselves, and understanding that they are so much more than their bodies. They are so much more than just this physical armor that we carry on and people see on a daily basis. There's so much more. So if it wasn't for that, I don't think I would be in the position I am today, and I wouldn't have met my wonderful husband that I have right now in celebrating his birthday today. I would be in the other relationship, and if not, suffering with the SA experience, but most likely with the narcissistic experience instead. And maybe my kids would have different experiences than they have now. So experiencing that drastic experience that I had in my life back then made me into the woman I am today, trying to dedicate myself to not only my healing, but to share it with the world as well. And I do appreciate it. I'm so grateful that you are witnesses to not only your journey, but mine. And I'm so grateful that you are providing me the patience to show you along and to guide you along. Thank you so much. Okay, I'll stop being sappy, go back to the book. We're almost done anyway. Know today that you are not alone. You're not. We're together in this. And as we go through this life together, we have the choice to bring more love or pollute the world with one more fear, or with even more fear. Today, just a second, just how about a minute? How about 5 minutes? An hour? A day? Choose love. And that's it for our week review before we head to tomorrow and do day 36. So I'll just give you a peek of what we're going to do. But otherwise than that, ladies and gents, that is week 36. And that is our end of our reading for today. I can't wait to start the new journey tomorrow. Have a great day.